Is
Rio
Rio
going
be
to
some
live up to that?
competition for Rio, isn't it?
Set the bar, didn't it?
Yeah,
Very high. OK, Mike, thanks very much. We'll talk later.
Now, the Bank of England is expected to announce later today that it's cutting UK interest rates for the first time in 7 years.
What will this mean to us? What will it mean to businesses? Well, Ben's taking a look at this. He's at a factory in Leicester for us this morning. And you're not going to get too tied up there, are you? It's a tape factory.
I see what you did there, Naga. Thanks very much. Morning, guys. Yeah, we're at a tape factory and we've come down to their warehouse because it's amazing. There's a tendency, isn't there, to think about interest rates as just being good news or bad news for mortgages, but it has a big impact on business too. This is a really international business. I mean, just look around here. This one's off to Denmark. This is going to the Czech Republic. That's going to the Netherlands. That one's going to Kuwait in the Gulf. This one here going to Finland. And it means that they're doing really well. So when they want to expand, if there's a fall in interest rates, it means that they can, frankly, borrow that money a bit more cheaply. So what could it mean and what will we expect today? Well, let me just show you this because, well, interest rates, they're currently at 0.5%. They've been at that record low since March of 2009. They were slashed to that rate at the height of the financial crisis. But what we're expecting today is a cut. And it's a cut, well, look, of 0.25%. That's what we're expecting today. And if there is that cut, well, it will take it to 0.25%. That will be the interest rate here in the UK. So what does it mean for business and what does it mean for consumers? Well, with me, some guests who can probably explain. Mark, you're the boss here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Explain to me what a cut in interest rates would mean for you guys here.
Well, for an exporting manufacturer in this country at the moment, it's very positive news, particularly one like us who wants to grow. It means that the value of the products we're selling has increased, and also the cost of asset finance has reduced. So for a growing UK exporter, it's great news.
Yeah. By asset finance, I mean the ability to be able to borrow money and expand and take on new stuff.
Exactly. So for us, we want to grow the business. That's extremely positive, and also the fact that it keeps the value of the pound low means that those sales we're making overseas are a lot more valuable to us.
OK, Mike, for now, thank you. Paul's with him. Paul, you're from the Midlands Economic Forum. You don't agree that cutting interest rates is necessarily a good thing. It could be counterproductive.
Yeah, I think the impact on the ability of commercial banks to lend and the impact on pension funds could be quite negative. And really, we've exhausted all the monetary levers. We're only talking about a shift of 50 basis points. And really what we should be looking at is the government making some major changes in taxation policy. Otherwise, we could be confronted with a major sterling crisis later on today when the New York markets open.
Yeah, one we'll watch closely. But Jasmine, that's the issue, isn't it? It's not good news for everybody, particular savers who could lose out once again.
Absolutely, and there are more savers than borrowers in this country, particularly those who are retired, who are trying to find ways to live off their savings. They've been hammered for the last 7 years at least, so this would not be good news for them. Fine for borrowers, but yet again, it wouldn't be good news for savers.
What difference does it make to an average mortgage? For someone who's got an average mortgage, a quarter percentage cut in the base rate, does it make a huge amount of difference?
Well, for a lot of people, it'll make no difference at all. If you've got a fixed rate, absolutely no difference. The people who are going to benefit immediately are the ones on a tracker, of course. They're the ones who've done extremely well over the last few years. If you're on a standard variable rate, it might help, might not. It might come in a little bit later. But, they're talking about a 0.25% difference. So, a lot of standard variables, they might just go, oh, well, we won't for a while.
Yeah. Paul, just a final thought from you, because there's a suggestion that this is just the first cut in what could be a number of cuts, and we could actually get down to zero. What does zero interest rates mean?
Well, you can't really cut anymore. We have exhausted monetary policy. One of the things the markets will be looking at is the type of if there's going to be any quantitative easing. And last time we had quantitative easing, that cleaned up the bank's balance sheets. What we're really looking for now is whether it's going to be used for regional infrastructure development. And the new government has actually made some very positive indications that they're going to have a comprehensive regional development policy. And if they use quantitative easing to back up that infrastructure planning, that could be really successful.
OK, Jasmine, Paul, Mike, for now, thanks very much. So we're going to stay here and work out what all this means for us. And I've got another roll of tape. So, guys, I don't know if you have any requests with our artistic tape work this morning, but I'll see what I can rustle up for the next hour.
You're asking us what we'd like you to do with the tape?
Yeah, you're not allowed to suggest put it over my mouth, I'm afraid.
OK, I'll have a good think about that, Ben. See you later.
He should be very afraid. It is just after 7:45. You're watching Breakfast from BBC News. Our main stories this morning. As we've been hearing, UK interest rates could be cut for the first time in 7 years. The Bank of England is under increasing pressure to react to poor economic forecasts.
A woman in her 60s has been killed and 5 people injured in a knife attack in central London. Police say mental health was a significant factor in the events.
Time for the weather now. Carol is out at Blenheim Palace this morning. And I think, Carol, the weather is going to improve through the day. Is that right?
It is. We're looking at sunshine and showers through the course of the day, Sal. But before that, the reason I'm at Blenheim Palace this morning is because it is hosting Countryfile Live. And who better to talk to than one of the famous Countryfile presenters, Adam Henson. Adam, good morning.
Good morning.
Now, tell me, you are here. Tell me a bit about the event, first of all.
Well, I think it's bringing the very best of the British countryside together. Everything you might see on Countryfile will be here at the show, along with all the presenters. We'll be filming here tomorrow as well. And hopefully, lots of viewers, people from the city and from the countryside, will come and enjoy the show with us.
So there's plenty of opportunity to talk to you, ask you questions about farming.
There is. There's some barns and theatres where we're doing talks and Q&A sessions. We're going to the main arena. There's lots of see and do, plenty of things to have a go at. And of course, this is the livestock experience area where we've got lots of farmers telling everybody about agriculture.
And talking of livestock, you can't help but notice these beautiful Highland cattle. Now, one of these, Archie, the bull, is yours. In fact, they're all yours, aren't they?
They are, yes.
So tell us a wee bit about Archie, because he's got a special pedigree.
He has, yes. The Highland cattle survive in the toughest of conditions up in Scotland, and the very best Highlands come from Scotland. So I needed a new bull, so where better place to go than the Balmoral estate? And I bought Archie from the Queen. She wasn't actually there to do the deal herself, but her farm manager, Docky, looked after me, and now we're proud owners of Archie, this lovely bull.
Oh, you're not wrong. And do you know what? I could talk to you all morning, Adam, about your animals, because the bunnies that we saw earlier were yours as well. But for now, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, the weather's been kind to us this morning. It's a chillier start than you'll have been used to of late, and it's not quite as humid either, which is also good news. But the forecast for us all is generally sunshine and showers. Not all of us catching a shower, but locally they'll be heavy and possibly thundery as well. So if we start the forecast at 9 o'clock this morning in Scotland, we do have some showers across the north and the northwest, a few in the southwest as well, but for the rest of Scotland, it's largely dry, variable amounts of cloud, a little bit of sunshine too in the east. For northern England, we've got showers coming in, particularly the northwest and across the Pennines. There are a few into the northeast, but they'll be more prolific here later on. Then spreading down the east coast into East Anglia, through the Midlands, into Essex and Kent, down towards Hampshire, we're back into skies like this. A bit of cloud around, some breaks in it. Heading over towards the southwest, again, some cloud around, some sunny breaks, but the cloud thick enough for the odd shower, especially around the Bristol Channel, and a lot of showers in Wales this morning. Northern Ireland, you're starting off on a showery note, but it's an improving picture for you because through the day, most of the showers will tend to fade, and later on you'll see some sunshine. Essentially what's happening is low pressure is now, it's moved across us, it's now in the North Sea, heading towards Scandinavia, and it's dragging the showers along behind it. So the showers in the west this morning will filter east through the day, so we'll see more in the Midlands, getting into East Anglia, the southeast, and some heavier ones, southeast Scotland and northeast England. Those ones could also be thundery. But in between, there will be some sunshine. Now, it's still breezy today, but the breeze continuing to ease down through the course of the night. It's the breeze that's making it feel fresher. And tonight, what you'll find is there'll be a line of cloud extending from southeast Scotland down towards Norfolk. That could produce the odd shower. For the rest of us, largely dry, clear skies. And that does mean it's going to be a cold night, especially in the glens of Scotland, where we could well see a touch of frost. So tomorrow we start off with all that cloud in the east, still producing the odd shower here and there, but it does move away into the North Sea, a ridge of high pressure builds in, and then we see the sun come out. Temperatures tomorrow up to 24, that will feel rather nice, but later in the day most showers are going to pull in across Northern Ireland and Western Scotland. So by the time we get to Saturday, we're looking at some rain for Northern Ireland and also Scotland. That's moving east through the course of the day. More cloud across western areas. It's the far east of England, especially the southeast, that hang on to the driest, warmest and sunniest conditions for the longest. And just before I go, Sal and Naga, to tell you today's pollen levels across the UK are low or moderate.
That's good to hear. Thank you, Carol. I just want to just remind us, the two lovely creatures behind you. They belong to Adam. Which one was Archie? Is it the pale one?
Yes.
I think he's gorgeous.
The bull, this one.
Oh,
He is. He's a very handsome boy, isn't he? And he knows it as well.
Oh, does
There's a
he?
little calf. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there's a calf in between the two cows. The cow at the back is Eric's daughter. So if you watch Country File, you will know all about Eric and his daughter. But there she is, looking resplendent with the calf in the middle. The calf is so cute.
Oh, look, it's
Is the bull friendly, Carol?
I'm not going to test that for you, Naga, because they've also got very big horns.
Yeah. Carol, I think we'll leave it there.
Stay
safe. Yes. Stay right on the right side of that fence.
Time now is 8 minutes to 8.
Now, I'm looking forward to this. It has been more than a century since golf was played at the Olympics, but this year it's back. And there are no prizes for guessing who on this programme is most excited about that.
Although lots of people don't think golf should be in the Olympics.
No.
That's caused a lot of controversy.
Lots of golfers don't think golf should be in the Olympics.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, one golfer who is hoping to strike gold for Team GB is Charlie Hull. I was lucky enough to go out for a practice with her to see how she was preparing for Rio.
I haven't had an accident before.
So I don't need to be nervous about being in the buggy with you?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm positive. Oh, that was a very good shot. Surprised. How many times a week do you play?
About 4 or 5.
Oh, that's quite good. Play more than me.
Right, come on then.
No.
Oh.
Ranked amongst the top 30 in the world and yet still only 20 years old, Charlie Hull is Great Britain's one chance of a medal in the women's golf competition.
How are you looking forward to the Olympics?
I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, it's just going to be a great experience, especially I'm going to be staying in Olympic Village, so it's going to be a lot of fun meeting different athletes and stuff, and hopefully I can go and watch a couple of other sports as well. I think she might hit it in the water. Ha! My prediction is right.
Splash.
Ha! You skimmed it as well.
Do you know, I'm worried that we haven't got enough balls for today.
I would come and help you look for it, but I just don't want to get wet.
Golf hasn't been played at the Olympics for more than 100 years, and while there's been a lot of controversy surrounding the male golfers, it hasn't put the women off.
I've never been to like South America before, so it should be interesting. I love being British, being English, and it makes me proud. It's great.
Good shot, she says between gritted teeth. Don't you dare.
Oh. Boom, I told you I'd read it right. I told you. Nice one.
That's half. So to stand up on that podium
Yeah.
with a gold medal, can you imagine the atmosphere there?
Yeah, I think it'd be brilliant. I'm not going to think too far ahead though, but yeah, no, definitely the thought of it is exciting.
You just take everything in your stride, don't you?
Yeah, I do, because at the end of the day, it's just another golf event, and you're just playing golf. I love golf, and it's only a sport.
I don't want to see any of that at the Olympics.
It's because I've been in America, and I'm like, the greens are a lot faster.
I halved with you. There's the half. I had a great time. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
I love the fact that she's so competitive, and even though she's playing lowly me, you know, lowly amateur golfer compared to her, she wasn't backing off.
She wasn't the only competitive one out there, Naga. I love it. Honestly, that got quite feisty at times.
It's too right, it did. Yeah,
And
to win.
And what I love about it is you actually say you played better this time when you played than you had done previously, so she was a little bit surprised.
Yeah, well, she had to look at shots like this. Look at this shot. I mean, this is what she was putting up with from me.
Go on, let's have a look.
It's quite got up in the air quite nicely.
Oh,
Splash.
yeah,
Splish splash.
Oh.
Yeah. She was quite pleased about that. Didn't even come and help me look for my balls.
That's not nice. What, did she
Yeah,
just
she just
scarp
drove
her?
off.
Yeah, she
just drove off. She hasn't even got a driver's licence. I let her drive the buggy, and she still didn't help me look for my balls.
All I can say is very, very well done.
And good luck to Team GB and, of course, Charlie and all the others.
Yeah, and of course we will have all the results from Rio every morning on Breakfast with a special programme. That's starting on Saturday. Watch out for that. It's going to look quite different, isn't it?
Very different, yeah. Sofa's a completely different colour. The men's golf will begin later today. The women will begin playing on the 17th of August.
Time now to get the news, travel and weather where you are. are this morning.
See you soon.
Hello, good morning. The leader of Chorley Council says he fears the A&E department at Chorley Hospital may never reopen. The department closed temporarily in April because there weren't enough doctors to run it. Yesterday, the Lancashire Teaching Hospitals Trust announced it will remain closed until at least next April. There are concerns it's backtracking on a promise to reopen as soon as possible.
I've always been and gone out of my way to be fair to the trust management and say I accept your assurances that this hospital will be the A&E will be reopened as soon as possible. But it appears that that's not happening. It appears that we've been told this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and now to be told it could be another 9 to 12 months before something happens is unacceptable.
And there's more on BBC Radio Lancashire's breakfast programme with Graham Liver just after 8 a.m. Meanwhile, the Southport MP John Pugh is calling on the government to intervene a year after 4 members of staff at the Southport and Ormskirk Hospitals Trust were suspended on full pay. It's claimed the move, which followed complaints by whistleblowers, is costing the taxpayer around £400,000. The Trust chief executive is among those suspended. A new report says 1 in 5 people are living in poverty in Greater Manchester. Research by the University of Manchester and the Joseph Rowntree Foundation reveals 620,000 people are affected, despite the city region having the second largest economy outside London. Engineers remain at the site of a huge landslide in Lancashire. Hundreds of tons of earth slipped at Sunnyhurst Woods in Darwen. A number of paths in the area have been closed. United Utilities says some trees may have been left unstable. Meetings were held last night to reassure residents.
We've got some environmental problems because the landslip has sort of brought quite a lot of sediment into the river. But my only concern about safety is the trees at present.
A prisoner who was detained at a Stockport police station has written to officers thanking them for her 3-day stay. The woman arrested in connection with theft and breach of bail praised staff at Cheadle Heath Station for showing respect and dignity. Staff say they're grateful for her feedback. Time for the weather now with Sarah.
Good morning. Well, it's going to be a breezy day today, but it'll certainly not be quite as windy as it was yesterday. That area of low pressure, which brought the quite stormy conditions, is starting to clear towards the North Sea now. But it is changing the wind direction as it starts to go. So gradually starting to come more from the northwest, which will bring a few showers through the daytime, but sunny spells in between those showers as well. And they should move through reasonably quickly with a daytime temperature of 19 Celsius. And then through the evening and overnight, the majority of the showers do tend to die away tonight. I think with the exception maybe across parts of Lancashire, just the odd 1 or 2, just trying to sit to the east of the Pennines there. But the nighttime temperature down to around 12, 13 Celsius. And the outlook for the weekend, well, we've got a ridge of high pressure starting to build in, so a better day on Friday. It will be warm over the coming weekend with maybe just a little bit of rain on Sunday.
And there are still major problems on the M6 in Cheshire. The southbound carriageway is closed between junction 18 at Middlewich and junction 17 at Sandbach because of an overturned lorry. There is a diversion in place, but there are delays back to Knutsford services. That's it for now. Back again at 8:25. Bye-bye.
Hello, this is Breakfast with Naga, Munchetty and Sally Nugent.
1 woman has died. 5 other people have been injured in a knife attack in central London.
Armed officers arrived at the scene within 5 minutes. They discharged a taser whilst confronting and arresting the suspect.
A 18-year-old man was arrested at the scene. Scotland Yard says mental health is a significant factor, but terrorism remains one line of inquiry.
Good morning. It's Thursday, the 4th of August.
Also this morning, interest rates could be cut to an all-time low.
But their biggest fall in 7 years, the first move since 2009. But what would it mean for business and savings? What would it mean for mortgages and loans if rates fall below that record low of 0.5%?
Digital detox. A third of us admit to needing to take a break from the internet because we're so addicted to our devices.
And in the sport, the chosen one, Andy Murray, will be the flag bearer for Team GB at the Olympics opening ceremony in Rio tomorrow night.
And Carol is out and about with the weather for us. Morning, Carol.
Good morning from Blenheim Palace, which is hosting Countryfile Live. The sun has come out. It's nice and warm now after a chilly start, and the forecast for most of the UK is still quite breezy, though not as breezy as yesterday, with sunshine and some showers. I'll have more in 15 minutes.
Thanks, Carol. We will see you then.
Our main story, a woman in her 60s has been killed. Up to 5 people have been injured in a knife attack in central London.
Police were called to Russell Square at 10:30 last night. The suspected attacker was tasered at the scene and arrested. Scotland Yard said that mental health was a significant factor, but that terrorism remains a line of inquiry.
The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, has responded this morning and he's urged people to remain calm and vigilant. Our Home Affairs correspondent June Kelly has this report.
It was just after 10:30 when police were called to Russell Square in central London, where a man armed with a knife was reported to be attacking people. A woman, believed to be in her 60s, died at the scene. 2 women and 3 men were injured. And overnight came a statement from the head of counter-terrorism at Scotland Yard.
Early indications suggest that mental health is a significant factor in this case, and that is one major line of inquiry. But of course, at this stage, we should keep an open mind regarding motive, and consequently, terrorism as a motivation remains but one line of inquiry for us to explore.
Armed officers were at the scene within minutes, and they used a taser stun gun while they were arresting the suspect.
I arrived here to my hotel and I saw the guy getting arrested just on the block. There were 2 police cars, and it was like an African, Native American man, a dark-skinned man, you know, black person, late 20s probably, and we heard that there's been stabbing going on. The streets were blocked and no one was allowed through. From 1 a.m. until now, so it's been like a good 6 hours.
The investigation is being led by the Met's Homicide Command, and they're being supported by counter-terrorism detectives.
As a precautionary measure tomorrow, Londoners will wake up and in the morning they will notice an increased police presence on the streets, including armed officers. This is there to provide reassurance and safety. We ask the public to remain calm, vigilant and alert.
At the crime scene, forensics teams will spend the day gathering evidence. A 19-year-old man is under arrest in hospital. June Kelly, BBC News.
And we will be hearing more from June, who is at the scene this morning, in a few minutes' time.
There is speculation that the Bank of England is going to announce that it's cutting interest rates to 1/4% today.
If it goes ahead, it'll be the first change in the rate in more than 7 years.
Ben is out and about. He's at a factory in Leicester this morning ahead of that decision, which is at noon. So Ben's finding out how businesses might react, how this rate decision, if it happens, could affect us as well. Morning, Ben.
Yeah, morning to you. Welcome to Leicester. There is a tendency, isn't there, just to think about interest rates when it comes to things like our mortgages and our savings. So that cut in rates today would mean that our mortgages get a bit cheaper and that savers, well, they'd lose out once again. But we're here talking about the effect on business, because what we're expecting is a cut in the interest rate, taking it to 1/4%. That would make it the lowest on record. Remember, it's already at a record low, so a cut could take it even further. But for businesses here, the ones that make stuff like this is tape used in the building trade. It means that they can expand more cheaply. They're able to borrow money and do so more cheaply. It means that they can expand, take on new staff, this sort of stuff. Well, it's sold right around the world. So actually, this lot is going to France, and the shipments here taking into Kuwait, Finland, all around the world. And that's the point. For business that can borrow more cheaply, they are a bit more optimistic. Why is this all necessary? Well, the Bank of England is worried that the UK could see an economic slowdown after that vote to leave the European Union. We've had figures for the service sector, manufacturing and construction, all suggesting a slump in orders and business in the wake of that vote in June. So what they're hoping is that that cut in interest rates will give us as consumers a bit more money in our pocket, because we're spending less on things like our mortgage or our loan. And it will also give businesses the opportunity to borrow cheaply and expand. So the hope is that will give the economy a bit of a boost. That will see us through the worst of the uncertainty after the vote to leave the European Union. And that could help the economy bounce back. So we expect that decision at midday today. But just to reiterate, a cut we're expecting from 0.5% to 0.25%, the lowest on record. More from me a little later.
Look forward to it, Ben. Thanks very much. Ben's getting very excited putting all the sticky graphics on his own on the floors.
I like the way you think it's Ben who's doing that. I think maybe someone's doing that for him.
He has
What
a
do you
very,
think?
very, very good producer.
Yeah,
very
I think
good
probably
producer
someone
indeed.
behind the scenes is helping him an awful lot.
Time now is 8 minutes past. The Olympic torch has arrived in Rio de Janeiro by boat after a 3-month tour of Brazilian cities. However, there were chaotic scenes later when the torch relay was challenged by hundreds of demonstrators. They were angry about the cost of hosting the Games. Riot Police used tear gas and pepper spray to disperse the crowd.
The two candidates for the Labour Party leadership, Jeremy Corbyn and Owen Smith, hold their first head-to-head debate tonight.
It's going to be the first of a series of hustings between the contenders ahead of the election in the autumn.
Well, our political correspondent Carol Walker is in Westminster for us this morning. And Carol, we're going to get a really good close look at how these two men react against each other today, aren't we?
Yes, that's right. The first face-to-face debate, so an important moment in this very, very contentious leadership contest. Now, ahead of that hustings tonight, Jeremy Corbyn, the Labour leader, is setting out in a speech his 10 pledges, which he says will rebuild and transform Britain. Things like borrowing to invest £500 billion in infrastructure to boost the economy, improving workers' rights, getting rid of things like 0 hours contracts, and putting a stop to what he calls the privatisation of the National Health Service. Now, these are all pretty familiar policies. He's talked about them all before, and indeed his rival Owen Smith has made some pretty similar pledges himself. I think what this comes down to is who's going to unite the party. We've had a really stark warning from Owen Smith saying that if Jeremy Corbyn wins again, Labour is teetering on the edge of a precipice and will be split asunder if that happens when Jeremy Corbyn has the support of ordinary party members, but not, of course, of most of his MPs here at Westminster. But, you know, Jeremy Corbyn has plenty of experience of these hustings. He did them pretty successfully in his first leadership contest, but this will be the first such occasion for Owen Smith, so a really important test for him.
Carol, thank you. That's Carol Walker in Westminster for us this morning.
60% of people in the UK admit to being hooked on their digital devices. This according to research by the communications regulator Ofcom.
Yes, it says millions of people are so worried about their addiction they've decided to take a digital detox, so taking a complete break from going online. Our business correspondent Emma Simpson reports.
Escaping the day-to-day grind. Nothing beats getting away from it all. But can we really switch off?
Oh, no, we'll definitely get them today.
Meet the Anzalonis and the McNaughts from Essex.
If I Google that, we'll be able to look today. I find it totally impossible just to put it away and not have it charged. I like to keep in touch with everybody, and I like to be able to post all my photos to Facebook so my friends can see where we are.
I'm usually on Facebook, a bit of Instagram, some Twitter, some Snapchat.
We're now spending the equivalent of just over a day a week online, and we're aware of the drawbacks. A third of adults have taken a digital detox or break to strike a healthier balance. For instance, 16% of us have made a point of going somewhere with no internet access.
Over on pitch 108, the Woodwards from Merseyside left their technology at home.
You're online probably most of the year, aren't you? And there's a lot going on in the world and different things like that. So 2 weeks of the year you can just chill out and forget about everything.
Feel better for it?
Yes, certainly do.
We're better connected than ever before, but the challenge is not to let technology take over our lives. Emma Simpson, BBC News, Poole.
The consumer magazine Which has found that more than half of food and drink promotions run by major supermarkets are for unhealthy options.
So it's now calling on retailers to do more to fight obesity. Shops say, though, that they do always try to balance their promotions.
The findings come just after the government announced it was delaying publication of its childhood obesity strategy, as Jane Francis Kelly reports.
We all like a bargain, but this report by Which suggests only 47% of the promotions it analysed between April and June of this year were for healthier food and drink. The consumer group said 52% of confectionery and 69% of soft drinks, with more than 8% of sugar, were on offer, compared with around a third of fresh fruit and vegetables.
Overall, we found that consumers were saying to eat healthier, they wanted retailers to put healthier foods in the offers that they do, or otherwise make healthier food cheaper or reformulate so that you're taking out some of the bad fat, salt or sugar.
The British Retail Consortium said which had shown supermarkets offered promotions in every category of food, and it had never been easier or more affordable to choose a balanced diet.
Well, price competition is a really key thing for us as customers at the moment. Every supermarket knows that, but they also know that we want to buy and eat a healthy diet, and therefore they have to get that balance right. The most successful ones get the more customers in, and they are more successful. That's why they are always thinking about the balance of their promotions.
Mr Opie said many supermarkets have removed sweets from checkouts, but the government would have to introduce curbs across all retailers to stop the practice entirely. Which's findings follow the government's announcement that it's delaying publication of its childhood obesity strategy until the autumn. Jane Francis Kelly, BBC News.
Now, to some, it is Sussex. I can't say this. I'm going to try. No, Sussex's supersized lollipop.
You got it.
To others, some people have been in touch this morning to say it's the donut on a stick. But it's officially known as the British Airways i360, and it opens today on Brighton seafront.
It's good. This is pretty cool. It's a viewing tower, and this was created by the architects of the London Eye. It's the tallest structure in the country, and so what you do is you go into this pod, and then it travels up 137 metres, and once you get to the top, if it's a clear day, obviously it wasn't when we filmed this, you could see the Isle of Wight, which is more than 40 miles away. One person you won't be seeing in it is Sally.
Yeah, a little bit too high for my liking.
Yeah, scared of heights.
Yeah.
OK, but it will appeal to lots of people. Sussex's...
Lollipop? Don't know.
I've forgotten the name.
Yeah, supersized lollipop.
Supersized lollipop, that's what it is. Or donut on a stick, whatever you prefer. Time now is 13 minutes past 8. Mike will have the sports for us a little later, and Carol, of course, will have the weather.
Now, the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, has urged people in the capital to stay calm but vigilant after a woman was killed and 5 others injured in a knife attack last night.
A 19-year-old was arrested at the scene in Russell Square at around 10:30. Scotland Yard has begun an investigation and said that mental health was a significant factor, but that terrorism was also a line of inquiry. Let's talk to June Kelly, who's our Home Affairs correspondent, who's at Russell Square where this attack took place. And June, you've been talking to eyewitnesses, people who witnessed the aftermath as well of this attack. Good morning.
Good morning, Naga. Yes, and some people say that they were astonished by the number of police officers who arrived on the scene here very quickly. Of course, we know from what we were reporting on Breakfast yesterday that more armed officers are being deployed on the streets of London because of the terrorist threat. And as you say, it hasn't been established yet that there was any terrorist element to this, but nevertheless, the city, of course, is on a state of alert. Now, more people on the move now in Russell Square, and some people had heard the news before they left home as to what had happened here. Others have been asking us. Some of them are alarmed when you tell them what's gone on here. Others slightly more philosophical, and I think that sort of feeds into this whole business of what both the Mayor and Assistant Commissioner Mark Rowley of the Met said overnight, was that they're appealing to people to stay calm and to try and reassure them. They're saying there are a lot of police on the streets of London this morning.
Indeed, and you know, of course, that announcement was made yesterday that there would be more people on the streets of London, and people in the area, we've been talking to residents, are quite appreciative of this, considering the history of what's happened in Russell Square. I'm talking about the 7/7 bombings, of course.
Yes, that's right. And I think with this investigation, which was launched overnight, what the police will be trying to establish with this man, and they'll obviously be trying to do this as quickly as possible because they will want to get the message out to people what they believe led him to do this. They will be just looking at his background, his associates, whether he was known to them before all of this, what they knew about him, what did other professionals, like health professionals, know about him. All that will be feeding into their investigation. He is under arrest in hospital, and of course there will be people who witnessed the attack who they will be speaking to, and there are, of course, crucially, the 5 people who were injured, and they will be pivotal in all of this because they will have been very close to him, and they will have heard what he said and shouted as he launched the attack. And we've heard from witnesses that he was shouting. One witness said he was screaming his guts out. And he was on the floor for some time after the police arrived. But, I mean, all this will feed into the investigation, and obviously what the Met will be trying to establish as early as possible is there any terrorist element, or can they rule that out?
OK, and obviously, June, we're waiting for more information to come through, as you've said. June Kelly there, our Home Affairs correspondent. Thanks very much, June.
It is 16 minutes past 8, and you are watching Breakfast from BBC News. Our main stories this morning. That is our lead story. A woman in her 60s has been killed and 5 people injured in a knife attack in central London. Police say mental health was a significant factor in the events.
UK interest rates could be cut for the first time in 7 years. The Bank of England is under increasing pressure to react to poor economic forecasts.
Time for the weather now. Carol is out at Blenheim Palace, and what do they say? Never work with animals or children. I think every hour we've had a different animal with Carol, and they've all behaved really quite well so far.
I'm waiting for the ferrets.
What has she got? Morning.
Good morning. I've got goats. Oh, they're gorgeous. These goats have been so inquisitive this morning. Every time we've walked past, they've been up like, what's going on over there? Now, you can see the different types we've got. The brown and white ones, they are African boars. And we've also got the rare breed, which is the Guernsey one, Guernsey golden one. This one here. Hello, good morning. They're kids. They're only 8 months old. Now, we've also got other live animals here, of course. There's some lovely chicks. And Liam White. Good morning, Liam.
Good morning.
Now, you're a livestock handler, clearly. May I hold one of these chicks?
Yeah,
oh, look at this little chap. He's not going to be frightened if I hold him, is he?
No, he'll be fine.
Oh, look at him. Isn't he gorgeous? Now, how old are they?
This one here is around 2 to 5 days old, so he's most likely 2 days old. You can tell normally by the size of their wings and also their beaks.
Tell us a bit about their beaks, because some of them have got like little hammers on the front, haven't they?
Yeah, so this little piece here on the tip of this little aracana,
that yellow bit,
that is their egg tooth. So that is a calcium build-up which will drop off after 24 hours, and that is his little hammer which how he will chip away at the egg to the point where he'll actually force his way out by wiggling his head against it.
How long does it take to break out of the shell?
Well, it depends. It can go anywhere between 5 minutes and 24 hours, really. But it's completely up to the individual. So it's...
Oh, well, you are gorgeous little things. You're quite content sitting there. He's just tweeting a little bit. I'll give him back to you just now, Liam. Thank you so much for letting me hold them.
That's all right.
And I know you've got to put them back in the home, so I'll let you go. Thank you. Oh, they're so cute. I think I should have been a farmer selling Naga. Good morning anyway again, because today's weather is pretty good. We're looking at some sunshine and some showers. Not all of us will see showers, of course, but some of them will be heavy. Some of them could also be thundery. So if we take a look at the weather in Scotland at 9 o'clock, first of all, there are showers around. We've got them in the north and the northwest. We've also got a few coming into the southwest, but in between, some drier and brighter conditions, especially so in the east. For northern England, well, there's quite a bit of cloud around, and we've also got some showers, especially in the northwest, some of those getting across the Pennines as well. But as we come down the east coast of England into East Anglia, Essex, Kent, the Midlands down towards Hampshire, it's rather like we've got here at Blenheim Palace. We do have some cloud in the sky, but at times it breaks and the sunshine comes through, and that holds true all the way over towards the southwest. Here the cloud thick enough for some showers, especially around the Bristol Channel. We've also got showers in Wales this morning. Some of those through the morning could be heavy and possibly thundery, especially in the north and west. And for Northern Ireland, you've got some showers around this morning. In fact, it'll be quite a showery morning generally, but by the afternoon, a lot of those will tend to fade and we'll see some sunshine. Now today it is quite breezy. The low pressure that brought all the rain yesterday is now moving off to Scandinavia and it's dragging the showers behind it. It's also producing a northwesterly breeze, which is cool. It feels fresher today. So the showers getting into the Midlands, East Anglia, the southeast of the afternoon, some heavy ones across northeast England, southeast Scotland. Those could be thundery too, but sun in between. This evening and overnight, as the low continues to move away, we'll be left with some clouds anywhere really from southeast Scotland down towards Norfolk. Again, thick enough for the odd shower, but for the rest of the UK it's going to be dry with some clear skies. So a cooler night in prospect, more especially in the sheltered glens of Scotland where there could well be a touch of frost. Tomorrow we start off with a cloud across some eastern parts. That then moves away, leaving a ridge of high pressure across us, settling things down. So there'll be a fair bit of sunshine around. Temperatures up to 24 Celsius, and in lighter winds that will feel quite warm. Then by the end of the afternoon there'll be further showers coming in across Northern Ireland and Western Scotland. So on Saturday there'll be some rain at times across Northern Ireland and Scotland. A bit more cloud across Wales, northwest England and into southwest England, parts of the Midlands. But the further east and southeast that you travel, well, the drier, the brighter and the sunnier the conditions will be, and warmer as well. And today's pollen levels, Sally and Naga, well, we're looking at moderate or low across the UK.
Carol, I have to say, though, never mind the pollen levels, the noise levels in there, I think they're all joining in with your weather forecast.
If you can see over there, if James, our lovely cameraman, pushes over, you can see the ducks. And we had some geese, there were some hens there a minute ago. And oh, James, come and have a look at this. Look at these little piglets down here. These are Berkshire piglets. And if you rub their tummies, they just lie down. You seem to love that.
Carol, can you do it? Can you get to them?
No, don't jump in.
I can't really get in, not at the moment. But you'll be able to do that kind of thing later on if you come down.
Oh, all right then. Okay. Okay, looks like fun. Look forward to seeing who you're with next time when we see you. See you later, Carol.
I think that's possibly one of my favourite ways for Carol to do the weather, with various animals every time.
I think Carol enjoys it too.
Yeah, I know she's very happy.
Time now is 22 minutes past 8. Of course, we'll have Mike with us a little later as well with all the sport.
Now, as a doctor, Kate Granger knew all about delivering bad news, but when she became the patient after being diagnosed with cancer, she found herself on the receiving end.
And she was shocked at how some doctors didn't even introduce themselves when they spoke to her. So she began a campaign called Hello, my name is...
Kate's husband, Chris, has been talking to Breakfast's Holly Hamilton about her legacy following the death of his wife last month.
All I wanted when I was first diagnosed was to be treated normally, just to be treated as Kate.
She was an inspiration for so many people.
In order to stimulate a change in society, I think you almost have to shock. I think that's the society that we live in. I think that's how people stop and think.
Kate Granger was diagnosed with an incurable cancer 5 years ago. She used her experience to create change, at the same time raising more than £250,000 for charity. But her legacy will be the campaign that went global.
Her proudest moment was when she knew she'd made a difference, when she gets the messages from people talking about, I went to see my consultant and he started or she started with those 4 words, hello, my name is. It made Kate feel so proud just by touching each individual. A large majority of the people on Twitter that followed Kate won't have ever met Kate, but feel like they know her. And that's the way in which she lived her life through the social media platform.
It's about building a connection, about starting a relationship.
Kate died on the 23rd of July, her 11th wedding anniversary.
Yes, it was tough. Seeing the person you want to spend the rest of your life with slipping away, it was tough for me personally. But hopefully by sharing our story and by sharing those final few days, it will make things easy for people to come to terms with the loss of such a great individual, in body but not in spirit. She's an amazing wife. Me and her never argued. The only thing that we actually argued about, which is quite comical, is it scone or is it scone? If that's the only thing you argue about, then it shows that you've got a really good relationship. People say, well, it's sad that Kate's passed away, but in those 15 years, Kate and I have achieved amazing things, and we were fortunate enough to have met each other at quite a young age. So we've had 15 amazing years, and that'll never be taken away from me. And the memory will just be of Kate being Kate.
I'd like my main legacy to be a better NHS that considers patients as people, not just diseases or conditions. And I hope I've managed to achieve that a little bit by making people stop and think about how they communicate with people.
And Kate's Hello, My Name Is campaign will continue as part of her legacy.
Time now, 26 minutes past 8. We'll have on the news channel, Business Live, but here on Breakfast, we're asking if you're hooked on all things digital. A new report has found that 6 in 10 of us are, and we're going to find out how best to detox if you think you need one. People have been in touch?
Yeah, lots of people have been in touch. Julia said, 48 hours without my phone when it broke last week. I felt very disconnected and a bit anxious until a new one arrived.
David said that he's almost run into people several times who've been wrapped up in their phones and stepped into the road. Good elbow, David. That's how you get rid of them.
Yeah.
Time now to get the news, travel and weather where you are. See you soon.